Hey guys, I am here with a recap of week one of NFL football. Week one definitely did not disappoint. There were a few disappointing games, but overall, I think it was a very exciting weekend for NFL football. So, getting right into the games, I'll start with Thursday night's game, which was the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Patriots. I told you guys in my last video that this was going to be a great matchup, and it turned out to be a great matchup. The Kansas City defense kind of had Tom Brady on his toes the whole game. Um, and the Patriots defense just couldn't keep up with Alex Smith and the rest of the Kansas City offense. Kareem Hunt was amazing at running back for Kansas City. Unfortunately, Dante Hightower went out for the Patriots. I think he has a sprained MCL knee. Or a sprained MCL, so he'll be out for a couple of weeks. And unfortunately, Eric Berry, who is the safety for Kansas City Chiefs and had some major plays Thursday night for them, is out for the rest of the season with a ruptured Achilles. So kind of sucks to hear that, but the Kansas City Chiefs did pull out the win against the Patriots, 42 versus 27. Up next, I have the Jets versus the Bills. Not really too much of an exciting game, but Tyrod Taylor did get to play after having that concussion for the preseason. LaShawn McCoy had a pretty decent game with 100 yards rushing. The Jets pretty much did what was expected of them, and that's not pretty much anything. So the score was 21-12, with the Jets beating the Bills. Next game, I had Pittsburgh versus Cleveland, which actually turned out to be a little bit more exciting than I expected. Cleveland definitely gave Pittsburgh kind of a run for their money. The defense, even without Myles Garrett, looked pretty good, and Pittsburgh just couldn't get right offensively against their defense, and DeShone Kizer for the Cleveland's offense looked pretty decent as well. But Pittsburgh did scoot out the win 21-18 over the Cleveland Browns. Up next, I have Arizona versus Detroit, and not Sam Bradford. Matthew Stafford actually showed us why he deserves to get that big payday. He threw for 4 touchdowns on Sunday versus Arizona, and Carson Palmer had a pretty awful game. He threw for 3 interceptions, and the Detroit Lions ended up winning 35-23 over the Arizona Cardinals. Up next, I had Jacksonville versus Houston, which was pretty much a surprising game because no one expected Jacksonville to be as successful as they were, considering how they looked during preseason. We saw some action for Deshaun Watson and the Texans because Savage had to take a seat. Deshaun Watson got the only touchdown in the game. For the Houston Texans, and the Jacksonville Jaguars ended up beating them 29-7. Oakland versus Titans, this was a pretty good matchup as well. Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota both had pretty decent games. Marshawn Lynch rushed for about 76 yards, which wasn't amazing, but it was pretty decent. And the Raiders defense kept the Titans out of the end zone with only 1 touchdown, and the Oakland Raiders got the win 26-16. Philadelphia played Washington for a pretty great game for the Eagles. Wentz had a good game, and the Eagles had a pretty great defensive performance, beating the Redskins 30-17. The LA Rams played the Colts, and really the big question here is, where's Andrew Luck? Tolzien ended up getting benched. He had 2 interceptions that were run back for touchdowns. Jacoby Brisket came into the game, but it was pretty much too late at that point. Todd Gurley and Malcolm Brown as running backs for the LA Rams both got touchdowns. The wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, I think his name is, had a good day. And, Jared Goff had a great day as well. The LA Rams beat the Colts 46-9. Seahawks versus Packers was another exciting game for Sunday. The Packers defense really showed up. They kept the Seahawks out of the end zone completely and left them with only 3 field goals. And Aaron Rodgers was out there doing Aaron Rodgers things. Even though in the first half he was looking kind of shaky, he definitely ended up with the 300-yard game to end out the game, and they won 17-9 over the Seattle Seahawks. Up next, I had the Carolina Panthers over the 49ers. Cam Newton finally returns to the field, so it was pretty exciting to see him out there. He threw for 2 touchdowns, even though the first half he looked a little rough with 2 interceptions. The defense really stepped up. They only allowed a field goal for the 49ers, but unfortunately the 49ers lost their first-round pick, Reuben Foster, at linebacker. And it looks like he's going to be missing a little bit of time with a knee injury. Then we had the Giants versus Dallas, which was a Sunday night game. it was supposed to be a really great matchup, but I don't know what's going on with the Giants, but they only had a field goal. They only got to the red zone like once. I'm not going to say it was because Dallas's defense is that great. I'm going to just say that the Giants, Eli Manning, the whole offense, they didn't look like they were on the same page. They weren't really clicking. But in great Dallas news, Zeke got to play, and he had a pretty decent game. Jason Witten and Dak Prescott both had decent games as well. And then Monday night we had a doubleheader starting off with New Orleans and Minnesota. Minnesota came out swinging. The defense looks awesome, and Sam Bradford put up great numbers. He had a 300-yard game. He threw for 3 touchdowns, and the Minnesota defense only allowed Drew Brees and the New Orleans offense into the end zone once. So pretty good stand by the Minnesota defense, and they came out with the win 29-19. And then the second game for Monday night was the Broncos versus the Chargers. And the Broncos seemed to have the game kind of like put away, but in the second half, the Chargers came back and made it pretty tight. Trevor Siemian looked pretty good. He had 2 touchdowns with 1 rushing touchdown. And the Broncos got the win 24-21 over the Chargers. And I saved this game for last, the Bengals versus the Ravens, because y'all know I am a Bengals fan. And Andy Dalton threw for 4 interceptions, and we were blown out by the Ravens in our opener. I'm so disappointed because I can't believe in year 7 of his NFL career, Andy Dalton threw for 4 interceptions, and we did not score once offensively. I understand the offensive line was looking trashy, but at the end of the day, I feel like we have enough offensive weapons in our possession to where our offensive coordinator, Zambezi, like, where were you at second half adjustments? Like, nobody made any changes. Like, you can't put this all on the offensive line. Yes, the offensive line needs to step up, but Andy, as a veteran quarterback, needs to make better decisions, and also Zambezi, you need to make better play calls, and you need to adjust your offense based on what your abilities are. You have way too many weapons. You know that you can do different things with your offense, so be creative. And man, just a big disappointment from the Bengals. They got blown out 20-0, and then they have a short week. They play on Thursday against the Houston Texans, who also had an upsetting game. So both teams are looking to redeem themselves. I'm hoping that Andy Dalton can put this first game behind him and come out with a great start and ultimately come out with the W for the Bengals this Thursday. But we'll see how that works out, and I'll see you guys later this week. Bye.